First Grand Tour of the year is upon us, starting May the 6th, 21 stages covering nearly 3,500 k and over 50,000 meters of elevation gain. So let's start by having a quick breakdown of the stages. The 2023 Giro d'Italia kicks off with a 19k relatively straightforward individual time trial, where we'll see the main contenders Roglic and Evenepoel battling it out with the time trial specialists. Stage 2 is one of the rare occasions for the pure sprinters, which is probably why not many of them are lining up for this Giro. We do see quite some versatile sprinters on the start list though, and for good reasons, like Stage 3, a proper Italian flat stage, labelled as flat in the roadbook, yet presenting some hurdles for the pure sprinters, and we'll get to see a few more of these throughout the Giro. On Stage 4 we get a middle mountain stage, which is highly likely to go to the break. This is one for the Kemnas of the starting field. Stage 5 may go to the break, yet most likely it's going to be for a versatile sprinter, and the same goes for Stage 6. On Stage 7 we get the first mountaintop finish atop the Gran Sasso. A similar stage was run in the 2018 Giro. That time the GC men battled it out, leading to small differences only. Something similar can be expected this year around. Stage 8 looks to be set for a punchy break. Stage 9 is a pancake flat ITT featuring only 50 meters of elevation gain over 35k. Stage 10 is similar to Stage 5, with sufficient time for the sprinter teams to reel in the break. That being said, a long-range attack may also stick. Bring on Magnus Kort. Stage 11 should be for the sprinters. Stage 12 looks like another chance for the breakaway riders to try their luck. Stage 13 is absolutely brutal, 207k, climbing to the highest point of this Giro and getting back over 2000 meters for a second time on the Croix de Coeur, to finish on Crans-Montana, in total good for 5,100 meters of elevation gain. Stage 14 is another Italian flat stage, with plenty of time for the sprinter teams to claw back to the front and fight for the win. Stage 15 has break written all over it, while on Stage 16 we get back into the high mountains, 203k and over 5,000 meters of elevation gain, finishing atop the Monte Bondone. Stage 17 is a rare actually flat stage. Stage 18 is most likely to go to the break, bringing us onto the Queen stage, another brutal day good for 5,400 meters of climbing, over 183k. And it ain't over yet, because it's followed by the final and deciding ITT of this year's Giro, and unlike the first two ones, this one goes up, finishing with a 7k 12% average climb. A lot can still happen on this one. Stage 21 is for the fast men who've managed to make the time cuts throughout the Giro. So to summarize, without knowing the actual race situation, we have 2 ITTs for the specialists and a climbing one for the GC men, 3 pure sprints, 6 versatile sprints, 5 break stages and 4 GC days. Here's an overview of the winners of the final 10 editions, with 3 wins going to Ineos with 3 different riders, Froome, Gegenhardt and Bernal, 2 to Movistar with Quintana and Carapaz, and finally Nibali being the only one to manage winning the race twice in this period. Here's an overview of some of the riders lining up with previous experience in this race, including only one former winner, Tao Gegenhardt, and a bunch of other former top 10 riders, including Uran, Caruso, Almeida, Pinot, Roglic and Vlasov. Here's what Roglic had to say in a pre-race interview as read on Velo News. Something that's not reflected in the betting odds at the time of recording, with Roglic and Evenepoel the obvious favourites. Note that with the ITT kilometers at hand, the winner must be good against the clock, which brings me to the following list of riders to watch for GC. The world champion at Soudal Quickstep, first in the UAE Tour, second behind Roglic in Catalonia, and a spectacular Liège-Bastogne-Liège win. Roglic at Jumbo-Visma, who won both Tirreno Adriatico and Catalonia. Almeida and Vine at UAE. We haven't seen Vine since he crashed out of the UAE Tour after winning the Tour Down Under, yet I expect him to be solid. The same goes for Almeida, who has been proving his form, 6th in the Algarve, 2nd to Roglic in Tirreno Adriatico, and 3rd after Roglic and Evenepoel in Catalonia. Gegenhardt and Thomas at Ineos Grenadiers. Gegenhardt is doing well, 3rd in Valencia and Tirreno Adriatico, 6th in the Ruta del Sol, and he just won the Tour of the Alps. Thomas, on the other hand, could really benefit from his TT skills. Then we get Alexander Vlasov at Bora Hansgrohe, 5th in Valenciana and 9th in Tirreno Adriatico. He's sharing the team with a bunch of stage hunters such as Kemna and Conrad, so it will be interesting to see which card they'll pull. The EF roster ain't complete yet, and Bettiol and Jefferson Cepeda have been added as potential riders. If they let go of the GC, this could be a full-on serial stage-snatching team. That being said, Ucarti's form is on the rise, 15th in the Alpe Maritime in February, 18th Tirreno Adriatico in March, and second behind Gegenhardt in the Tour of the Alps earlier this month. Despite the TTs, I expect him to hang on for a top 10. At Bahrain Victorious, the Haig Caruso Buitrago trio seems to be in good form. Haig 11th in the Ruta del Sol, 10th in Paris-Nice, and 3rd in the Tour of the Alps. Caruso has a good TT and he seems on good form to hang on in the climbs as well, so he also has a serious shot at the top 10 in my opinion. Looking at the fast men, based on the preliminary start list, here are the 10 to watch in my book. Akkerman at UAE, Pedersen at Trek, Matthews at Jayco Alula, Dainese at DSM, Gaviria at Movistar, Bonifacio at Intermarché. Then I really like Vincenzo Albanese at Eolo Cometa. He's fast and can survive the climbs, perfect for the Italian flats. Cavendish at Astana, although he didn't seem to have found his legs and getting out of the Tour of Romandy as of stage 2. Groves at Alpecin de Koning, with an entire team seemingly built around him. And last but not least, Jonathan Milan at Bahrain Victorious. In terms of stage hunters, Aina Rubio at Movistar, Rota and Tarame at Intermarché. Then I hope we'll see stage hunter Pinot rather than GC Pinot, Victor Lafay at Cofidis, Vendrame at AG2R, Kort Healy Bettiol and Cepeda at EF, breakaway master Lennart Kemna at Bora Hansgrohe, and Buitrago at Bahrain Victorious. Roglic and Evenepoel are my 4-star favorites, Almeida and Gegenhardt get 3 stars, Thomas and Vine get 2 stars, Vlasov, Caruso, Haig and Carthy each get 1 star. In terms of podium prediction for the 2023 Giro d'Italia, I'm going with a win by Evenepoel ahead of Roglic and Almeida. Thanks for watching. I plan to bring stage predictions, so see you soon.